My piece of advice is the same advice that I go by myself for everything in life, not just harping. And that is, walk your own path. You're not a sheep. You don't have to follow everybody else's path. You don't have to do the expected route in life. You do what's right for you. And if people question that, it doesn't matter. But you can just do exactly what you want. I always think, as long as I'm not hurting anybody else, I just do exactly what I want. And that's what we should all be doing in life. I don't go by what society thinks I should do or what other people think I should do. And don't do that in your harping. Just do your path, your way, and make yourself happy, because that's why you're playing it after all.
Amazing. Welcome to episode 54 of the How to Harp podcast. And I'm sitting down with another learner harpist interview today, Niccie Hughes. She is one of our members and she won a place at our first How to Harp retreat last year in our prize draw. William and I loved getting to hang out with her and her husband, Jeremy. And they're coming back again this year, so we get to see them again in October at our next retreat, and I can't wait. Now, Niccie heard the harp as a child at the ballet, rather like my first hearing of the harp, and she never forgot it. She waited over 40 years to actually start. She now has 2 harps, and both of them are completely personal to her. One of them she built and painted herself, and she plays it for us later in the episode. She talks about knowing yourself as a learner and doing it your own way rather than the expected way. I came out of this one really ready to take on anything. So let's jump into it, and I hope you guys feel the same. Hello Niccie, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you, Heather. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. I'm really excited to be sitting down with you, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed because this is our third start for Niccie's podcast. So fingers crossed we can get all the way through this time without heat waves switching all of our equipment off or the Wi-Fi deciding to randomly not work. Maybe we'll get through it today. What do you think?
I think we will, definitely.
Positive mental attitude. I love it. So we're here to hear all about your story with your harp, and I can't wait to dive in. Why don't you take us right back to the start and tell us how you got into harping?
Well, when I was little, my mum took me once to see a ballet in a local theatre, and I had to think about where I'd heard the sound because I knew what it was that started it. I'd heard a harp doing a glissando, and I thought it was like the most amazing thing ever. And I couldn't think about where it was. But as we were delayed, I remembered in between times, that's where it was. I'd heard it in a theatre, in a ballet. And to be honest, until I was maybe 20 or 30 years later, I never saw another harp in real life, on TV, of course. But I remembered that and it stuck in my mind. And I really wanted to one day play the harp. And I started music. We moved house when I was 8 and the people couldn't move their piano and they just left it behind. And I said to my parents, oh no, don't get rid of it, because I thought it was marvellous. And I spent ages plinking around. And I did a few grades on the piano. And then I went to secondary school and played the cello because they rent you instruments. So I rented theirs for 5 years while I was at school. And then when I finished school, obviously I didn't have my own. So then I didn't do music for a bit. And then when my son was a bit older, he wanted to learn the guitar. So he's neurodivergent, so I thought I'd help. If I learned at the same time, it would help me help him at home. So I learned that for quite a while, but I'm not very good at bar chords, but I'm good at lots of other things. So I felt, although I really like the sound, and for me, I really like sensory input from instruments, and I liked it like the cello because of the vibrations, but obviously the more bassy, the better. I decided that wasn't for me. So I gave that up and thought, I'd had a very busy life. I've got 3 children and we had horses for a long time and they did a lot of competing and there wasn't time to do anything other than that really, and normal life and work. So when that kind of ended and they got grown up, because they're all old now, I thought, right, that's it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to play the harp. I'd never forgotten for 40 odd years that I wanted to do it. And then I hired one. I hired a Dusty Springs Ravina because I didn't really know anything about harps. Thought I'd hire that. And that came, and that was it. I was hooked. And that's how I started with the harp.
Amazing. And so you hired a Dusty Strings. How long ago was it that you hired? And secondary question to that, you say that was it, I started, but how did you start? Did you find something online? Did you find a teacher? Like, how did you actually get going?
Well, where I live, I've never seen anyone play the harp or never talked to anyone who played the harp or anything. So I don't think it's a big area for the harp, although one of our members does live about 18 miles away. But obviously I didn't know them. So I hired the harp and it arrived on the 26th of November, nearly 3 years ago. So that's how that arrived. And then I looked around a lot because whilst this is probably not the right thing to say, but it's true for me. Whilst I think in-person lessons are really useful, I find them quite pressured, especially if you have one every week. Because for me, I have got quite a busy life, and sometimes I might not make much progress in a week, and then I'd feel that I hadn't done enough or whatever, and it feels like pressure to me. So I definitely knew I didn't want weekly lessons right at the beginning. And I looked around a lot for resources, and I did find, I'm really sorry, I didn't find your How to Harp straight away. So I found a different harp school that was quite simple, and it was online, which suits me really well. I like things to be online because then it's my speed and I can do what I want to do. I'm probably a bit, I don't know, I kind of know what I like and just like to do that, I guess. And it was good to start off with because it really was basic. I think really it was for children. I looking back, I do think it was for children, but that far was far. I didn't know anything about it, so it worked for me. And I did that for a while until I'd finished everything and thought, oh, what do I do now? So I stopped that school, and then I looked around and found yours, and I'd seen some videos in the meantime, and I really liked you. So I know you don't like compliments, but you seemed really friendly and down to earth, and to me that was really important. So I thought, right, I'm going to have a look into this, and and that's how I chose How to Harp.
Amazing. That's amazing. I know you said there in that answer that you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say this because it's not the right way, but I actually love that you said, weekly lessons weren't right for me, and that you've said there that, the pressure. I can completely understand what you're talking about. That, like, a week is such a short time when you've got so many things going on. But even if you decide to take fortnightly or monthly lessons, it still is, I think everybody's different, and I think that a lot of people out there will probably be like, oh yeah, that is how I've been told I should do something and I have to do it this way. But hearing that there's more than one way to do something is great.
Definitely.
It's great. You don't have to have a weekly or a fortnightly or a monthly lesson. You can do what works for you, and you've found that, and that's brilliant.
I do have monthly lessons with Angela, and that's perfect because it's just the right time scale for me. Because even if I'd had a really busy week or been really ill one week or something like that, I still would have had enough time to make some progress. And then it's something to really look forward to, not, oh my God, there's a lesson in 5 days. It's something, oh, there's a lesson in 30 days or 28 days or whatever. And that's good because it's something I look forward to that, and that's just the right frequency for me. And she gives me enough things to work on in that next time period for the next lesson anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And someone was just talking about lessons with Angela. She's wonderful. Let's do a pause. Yes. We did a pause in the last podcast that we recorded to just appreciate Angela. We do another Angela appreciation pause because she's amazing, isn't she?
She is. So this is what I think about Angela. I think she's very kind. She's really explains things in an easy way. You can tell she's been a teacher I know she was a maths teacher, I think. You can tell that she's very patient and explains things in whatever way. She doesn't gush and give you too many compliments that you probably think, actually, I don't think I was that good. Well, she doesn't do that. She seems really genuine. And I might be different to her other students, possibly. And she's really good at accommodating how I want to do things. So I normally have my own ideas of what we're going to play and what we're going to do or whatever. And I have a habit, and she'll back me up on this, have a habit of picking pieces that are too difficult. And I really like doing that. And they take ages for me to master because they're too difficult for me. And I might have this in a lesson. I might be doing it for months. I do other things, not just one piece. but she's really patient about it and she's fine with that. Whereas obviously if I pick quicker ones, like simpler ones, maybe that are more either my level or easier for me, it'll be much quicker when we go through loads of things. But I like to pick the hard ones, but I don't get frustrated with it. So she says that's fine because I don't get frustrated. I just keep going and learning, and I like all the new techniques and things. So she's great for me, or she's perfect for me, I think.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I couldn't rate her highly enough for anybody else.
Yeah, she's wonderful. We love her. And it sounds like you've really learned. I mean, it kind of sounds like you knew yourself really before you started the harp as a learner, and you know what you want, you know how you learn, and that's great. That's kind of half the battle, I think. When people start learning something, it's not so much about learning the thing, it's more about learning how you actually learn and working with that.
Yeah. This is true. I've always been someone that's always learning something. I'm on the autistic spectrum, and my brain is a very busy brain, and it literally is that brain that you talk about being a sponge. It wants to know. If it gets interested in something, that's it. It has to know everything. And I'll research for hours and hours and weeks, months. It could last a really long time and become like a mini expert on the thing. And that's just, I know that's how I am. And I've always been doing academics all my life. I like to get qualifications just because I'm interested in them, not for any other reason. So I'm used to learning, and it's just what I do all the time.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. So let's learning. We love learning, my favourite subject. But my second favourite subject is, of course, the harp. Let's get back to your harping. So you rented a Dusty Strings, but that's not what you have now, right? Can you tell us about, because you've got quite a unique harp now. So tell us about your harp.
Yeah. So I have a Pilgrim Clarsach, which I know some other people in How to Harp have. And when I was researching what harp to have, because there's so many makes, and as I've just told you, I am a researcher, so I made a spreadsheet. Because that's the sort of sad thing I do. And put all the information about all the harps and whittled down models from different harp manufacturers that I thought would be right. And then I had decided I was going to try 2 types of harp. And I went to Pilgrim's first because they were a bit easier to deal with than the other place I was going, to be honest. I went there first, and the harp I thought I was going to like from there, I didn't like. And then one harp that I knew I wouldn't like from there, because it was quite lightly strung, and I knew I wouldn't like that. But I didn't like that. And then I played this one that I never thought I was going to like. And as soon as I played it, I started crying. Oh, it's really embarrassing. And then I knew that was the harp I had to have. But me being me, as I've explained, I have lots of special interests, and they can go quickly or they can stay for years and years. And if I buy something off the shelf and it's mainstream, it won't stick with me because it's not mine. It's not personal to me. So I know that sounds crazy. It's the same as furniture. When I buy new furniture, I just can't have off the shelf furniture because within 2 years I've changed it. So I get old furniture and I redo it all myself and paint it and put designs on it, and then I'll love it forever kind of thing. So I know how to make things stick. So they made me Cadbury's purple, my harp is, and it's got like a slight metallic sheen, but not too much on it. And then it's got seals painted on it because I really like animals, and at the time I was probably really obsessed with seals, I think. I still like them, but it was one of my passions at the time. So I've got these seals painted on it, and I'm not remotely fed up with it. And I've had it for 2 years, so this is quite amazing. And I won't get fed up. I know that I won't now. So so I have got quite a unique harp. And if I take it anywhere, everyone looks at it and I think they're like, "Oh, your harp's lovely," and inside they're thinking, "Thank God that's not mine. It's a bit leery."
I love your harp. I feel like I guess I got to know you a little bit before I saw your harp, so I suppose it was different. So when I saw you with your harp, I'm just like, that fits. It's like the partnership, and it's so true that the harp picks you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Just for anyone who's listening, I heard a little bit of dog barking in the background there. It's just the dogs appreciating Niccie's harp also. They love your harp too, so sorry about the dogs in the background. Never could email.
Oh. Well, my dog has just barked now. I know you just said that, sorry. He's normally quite quiet.
I think
he's a dachshund and they're quite noisy.
They're all just enjoying it. Do you know what? This is a perfect time for us to go to the video because we'll all be muted whilst we're listening to your playing. And this is your other harp, which is also special, so you can tell us about this one once we've heard you play it. Oh, that was lovely. You need to tell us about the harp, but also about why you chose that piece.
Okay, so I'll tell you why I chose the piece first, because I'll probably waffle on about the harp. I chose that piece because actually not very long ago, I said to Angela, I've decided to play something simple, which is a surprise. And I found something that will fit on my Harp-E because it's got 24 strings and most of my pieces need more strings. So I said, I'm going to learn that to play on my Harp-E. And I'd picked it up a couple of weeks before you said, do you want to do the podcast? So that's why I picked that, because I wanted to play my Harp-E, because when I posted pictures of it on the community, lots of people said, oh, what does it sound like? Or can you post a video? So I thought if I make a video with the Harp-E in, then that will, fit that as well. People can hear what it sounds like. And the Harp-E that one is special to me because I've got a caravan and I stay in my caravan a lot, in the summer on weekends when I'm not working, and I don't like not to have a harp. So first of all, I bought a tiny harp that had 16 strings, and I decided this might be completely wrong, but for me, I felt I had to be a really good harpist to be able to play these 16 strings, because actually you've got to be quite creative and know what you're doing. I've decided to be able to make that work, and it frustrated me. And also I hate having harps on my lap. So I didn't know that before I bought it. So I gave that one to a friend, and then I bought another harp, actually I had another small harp at the same time that was 23 strings, but that was a lap harp before I decided I hated lap harps. And then I definitely decided I hated it and sold that. So then I spent ages researching small harps that didn't have to sit on my lap, but I wanted them to be able to plug in, because my Pilgrim is electro acoustic. I can plug that in and do things with it, and I wanted the same with a small harp. So in the end, I chose the Harp-E, and because I've got skills painting things and working with wood, and I like doing all those creative things, and I knew if I'd put a lot into it, that would be another keeper that would last me a long time, because it was part of me. I decided to buy the basic kit and do it myself. And my husband kept saying, do you want me to help you? And I'm like, nope, you cannot touch my harp. And I took over the utility room for quite some time and made my Harp-E. But it was quite a difficult process, because I knew I didn't want it to be wood coloured as such, but I wanted to see the grain. And then I didn't want to, this is typical me, honestly, I just make life hard. There was instructions about what oils to use and all sorts of things to colour it, but I didn't want to do that because I wanted to paint it with acrylic paint and it wouldn't work. So I had to find my own way of making it a different colour. So I tried on loads of bits of plywood, loads of different tests of things, and came up with what worked. And that took longer than doing the harp, I think, doing all the testing. I quite enjoyed it in a way. So, yeah, that took quite a while.
I love that. I just love it. I love it that the whole thing has become a big project, but it's just made it all the more special, right? And every time you play it, and every time you have it, like it's yours. There's not a single Harp-E that will ever be like it. It's Niccie's Harp-E.
Yeah, and it's painted all on the outside, and all the insides are painted. So because there's a gap, so when you walk past it, you can see all the images mirrored on the inside as well. So it really did take quite a long time to paint.
I love that.
And I really liked the levers best. I sanded them, so they were really, really smooth, so that hopefully it would work better, because I knew some people said they were really stiff. And then I put lots of wax on them to help them move. So they worked. But the bonus was, when I got my Harp-E, I ordered it, and then it arrived, and 2 days later, out came the new version of the Harp-E. So then I was like, oh no, that's terrible. And it said, this one's got better levers and better that. And it turned out I had one of the very first ones. And I didn't know.
Perfect. So, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So that was really lucky.
There you go. Amazing. I love it. I love those stories. That's wonderful. So you're learning online, you're working with Angela, you found us at How to Harp. We're so glad to have you. Because a lot of our listeners out there are learner harpists, and I know that it's really helpful for them to relate to to both our professional harpist interviews and our learner harpist interviews. Can you talk about any times in your harp journey where you've experienced any lows or struggles in your learning, and how you've got through them? Or, I mean, have you had that experience?
I am a really positive person, and I haven't really had any frustration with it. But that doesn't mean things have come easy to me, because the thing that I found the hardest so far is harmonics on the lower metal strings.
Mm-hmm.
I am someone that, everyone won't know this, but I'm someone that probably prefers exercises to playing pieces. I think it's the repetition and the satisfaction of, you can start an exercise and you're rubbish, but quite quickly you can make it sound how you want to. And then I like playing with it and making it do all different things. And I really like exercises. I also love playing pieces, but I think I get lots of instant satisfaction from exercises. So I probably haven't got a repertoire as big as lots of other people in pieces, but maybe exercises or techniques I will have for my stage, because that's what I like to do. I forgot what your question was now.
It was if you've had any struggles that you've had to overcome.
Yeah, right. So, sorry. So I did start harmonics quite a long time ago, because I saw you play one and I was like, right, that's it. I want to do that. I was probably quite a long time ago. And it took me a little while, but I mastered them. Yeah, fine. But then on the early intermediate, you wrote a piece, Shelf Cloud, that's got quite low harmonics. That's my biggest struggle, I think, so far. And I can get them sometimes. The others I'm pretty good at getting most of the time. But yeah, they're still not perfect, but they're coming along. But I don't let it stress me, because what's the point in letting it stress me or make me upset? There's no point at all. But actually I can do harmonics on these other 20 strings and they're pretty good. So the others will come because I can already do those. That's how I view it.
That's great.
And then I just keep going. And every day when I practice, I just do like a little scale in each hand up and down on the harmonics as part of my warm up. It's just,
yeah, that's
it's
great.
fine. That was the most difficult thing.
That's great.
The other difficulty I have, which if I let it would be quite frustrating, is I can very quickly play one hand from even the hard pieces. I can quickly play the other hand, and I probably prefer my left hand. But putting them together is much more difficult. My little brain is not so happy at that. But that's why the exercises are good, because your hands are doing different things, and that's improved that. And I've got quicker at learning the pieces, but it's still not really fast. But I don't get frustrated, because what's the point?
That's a great attitude to have. And I wonder if, just so that people can, because if you don't have a positive, not everybody does have a naturally positive attitude, do they? But I wonder if listening to you talk, and just the fact that you know yourself so well as a learner, I wonder if what people could maybe take away from this is that you've learned so much about how you learn. You keep on learning. You said you do lots of courses. It's not just the harp, it's other things. You know what you want, you know how you learn, you know the best way to do it. So do you think that's what maybe has helped you? Even when you've struggled, even with harmonics, you're very easily able to say, well, I can play on most of the strings and I just have to work on these. Maybe that comes from understanding yourself as a learner. What do you think about that?
I think you're absolutely right. I do know myself and my many faults quite well. And over the years, I've worked on them to eradicate them as much as possible, or as far as possible. And I play the harp because it calms my brain. It makes me just think of one thing at a time, not the 5 or 6 that it's normally thinking of. It's peaceful for me because I'm not racing. My brain's not racing. I'm just thinking of this one thing. The vibrations, I really like that and feel so much better. I've got a long-term chronic illness, and when I've played the harp, even if I feel too ill to play, even if I play for 10 minutes, I'm not saying I feel better completely. I don't, but I do feel a little bit better. So, but even if I can't play for long, some days, just that little bit does make me better. And it's all about mindset and how you think about things in life. So I don't even get down about I like, in the past I used to play for much longer, But if I can only play for 10 minutes one day, I don't get down about that. I think at least I've been able to play for 10 minutes today. It's how you frame everything.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do in life, is look at the positive. There's always a positive in everything.
Yeah.
There is. Even though it might be a tiny one, there is always a positive.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love that. And I feel like that exudes from you as well. Like, I feel like whenever we spend time with you, the positivity kind of oozes out of you into the people around you. Do you think that's true? Do you feel that? Like, that you've kind of transferred that to people around you? Or is it just me seeping it out of you like a vampire?
Well, I work in quite a difficult industry, and it's very stressful. And my team were like, how will you stay positive every day? It's been a really shocking day. I'm like, because otherwise the day would be so much worse. You would feel, if you start off expecting your day is going to be rubbish, or learning a new piece is going to be too difficult and you can't do it, then it will be. You've got to believe, okay, might be a bumpy journey, but I can do it. So there's a saying that talks about, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. But if you don't want to do it enough, you'll find an excuse. So I try and live by that, and I try and find a way, even if it's not good enough, or, not quite where I want to be. It's a lot better than having not done it at all. And you can just build on it. So that's just how I view it.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that. I feel like you kind of answered the questions that I'm about to ask you, but I'm going to ask you anyway, because I bet you've thought about them. So we're coming to the end. It's been lovely to chat to you, and I have been seeping up the positive energy, definitely. I kind of feel like after this podcast, I'm ready to go and do tons of stuff. But before I do that stuff, you are a valued member of How to Harp. We love having you in the community. But what's your favourite part of How to Harp?
I've got quite a few favourite parts. I really, really like practice togethers. I get a lot out of those. I like to do Angela's practice together on a Monday if I can. We have interleave practice, and I really like the structure, because I like routine and structure. I like, one of my favourite things is a monthly warm-up, because it's exercises. Probably. I just really enjoy it. And I think, I really like the exercises. I like being able to dip into the technique bank and thinking, okay, this bit's not going well, Heather will have something about that somewhere. And looking that up and finding out what it is, what I need to do. I like the fact that everybody in the community is genuinely so supportive. I've never met anybody that, because wherever you go, there's always someone that's not quite as nice, or doesn't always say kind words or whatever. I've never seen that. Honestly, I never have. And I'm not here for anything like that. That doesn't fit with how I like to do my life or anything. And it's just a really safe, nice place. And if my harping didn't move on for 2 years and I stayed still, no one's going to say, well, why can't you do this yet? Or whatever. It really is a nice place to be. And I don't have time, that is an excuse, but it's true as well, to join in everything, because life's very busy with other things and work and things. And so I just join in some things, but I'm never made to feel, why haven't you joined in this? Or why don't you do more of that, or whatever. So it's just the most comfortable pick and mix space, something for everybody, with such a nice bunch of people that are just supportive and happy people. Yeah,
they're just, you've hit the nail on the head. They're just so nice. And I actually speak, I speak to Willie about this and the team about this, quite often. We've been so lucky. And I do wonder what might happen. Sometimes I think, what if something does happen and there's someone that comes along and says something that's not nice, and but I'm not going to worry about it because it's not happened, and hopefully it'll never happen. But we've been going for years, and yet everybody in the community is so nice and so supportive, and I'm really grateful for that. So I guess we'll say thank you to all the How to Harp members right now for being that way, right?
Absolutely, they're all lovely.
We love you guys. So our last question, Niccie, you've already dropped some pretty awesome bits of advice in this podcast, I have to say. But as you know, most of our listeners are learner harpists. What's the one piece of advice you would give a learner harpist?
My piece of advice is the same advice that I go by myself for everything in life, not just harping. And that is walk your own path. You're not a sheep. You don't have to follow everybody else's path. You don't have to do the expected route in life. You do what's right for you. And if people question that, it doesn't matter. You can just do exactly what you want. I always think, as long as I'm not hurting anybody else, I just do exactly what I want. And that's what we should all be doing in life. I don't go by what society thinks I should do or what other people think I should do. And don't do that in your harping. Just do your path, your way, and make yourself happy, because that's why you're playing it after all.
Amazing advice to end on. Niccie, thank you so much for spending the time with me today. I've really enjoyed sitting down with you, and I can't wait to see you again soon.
Take care.
Thank you so much, Niccie. I really loved sitting down with you. Walk your own path. You're not a sheep. That one is staying with me. Her positivity really is contagious, isn't it? Thank you all for listening. I hope you all feel energized too from that chat. Next week, it is just me flying solo. I'm talking all about harmony and finding your own voice at the harp. You need a base knowledge first, and then you're looking at imitating other players, other sounds, and asking yourself what you like and what you dislike. Then comes assimilation as you put it all together, and then you're ready for a bit of innovation. It's a topic I love and I can't wait to share it with you. Now, as ever, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast with others, and I'll look forward to seeing you all next week.